What if I told you that you're getting a traffic ticket every single time you get behind the wheel, but the police aren't the ones writing it? Your car is. Most of us think we're good drivers. We follow the speed limit, we stop at the red lights, and we avoid accidents. But there is a different kind of law you are breaking every day: the laws of mechanical physics. In the world of automotive psychology, we call these mechanical crimes. These aren't habits that will get you pulled over by a cop, but they are habits that result in a massive fine down the road, usually in the form of a $2,000 or $5,000 repair bill. The scariest part? You probably think these habits are completely normal. You might even think some of them are helping your car. But while you're driving to work or running errands, you are slowly sentencing your engine and transmission to an early grave. Today, we're decoding the 10 illegal driving habits that almost everyone is guilty of. We aren't just looking at what you're doing, we're looking at the hidden costs you're piling up. We are counting down from the most common mistakes to the absolute #1 habit that is a literal death sentence for your engine. By the end of this video, you'll realize that the most expensive tickets aren't the ones that come in the mail. They're the ones you pay for at the mechanics counter. Habit number 10, the 2-foot braking. We begin our countdown with a habit that creates a constant mechanical tax on your car: 2-foot driving. In an automatic car, there is no clutch, so many drivers fall into the habit of resting their left foot on the brake pedal while their right foot handles the gas. In your mind, you feel like you're being safer and reacting faster, but in reality, you are committing a crime of friction. Even the slightest weight of your foot, just the pressure of a relaxed leg, is enough to engage the brake pads. This creates something called brake drag. You are essentially forcing your engine to fight against your brakes for every single mile you drive. This doesn't just lower your fuel economy, it creates massive amounts of heat. This heat glazes your brake pads, making them less effective, and can actually warp your heavy metal rotors. You are literally burning through money to achieve nothing. Psychologically, this habit comes from a place of anxious driving, but the cost is very real. It's like trying to run a marathon while someone is pulling on your shirt. Eventually, something is going to break. Habit number 9, the puddle splashing myth. Habit number 9 is something many of us do for fun: speeding through deep puddles during a rainstorm. It looks cool and it feels harmless, but to your car's hardware, it is a violent event. This is the crime of thermal shock. When you drive, your brake rotors can easily reach temperatures of 400 degrees or more. When you suddenly soak that scorching hot metal in 50-degree puddle water, the metal tries to shrink instantly. This causes the rotors to warp or even crack, leading to that annoying shaking feeling every time you hit the brakes. But there's a scarier risk: hydrolock. Your engine breathes air through an intake. If you splash deep enough and your engine gulps down just a cup of water instead of air, your engine will lock up and explode instantly. Water doesn't compress, but metal does. You're trading a 3-second splash for a $5,000 engine replacement. It's a gamble where the house always wins. Habit number 8, the quarter tank procrastination. Habit number 8 is a psychological trap: waiting until the very last second to get gas. We've all played the game of how far can I go on empty, but your fuel pump isn't laughing. In most modern cars, the fuel pump is a high-speed electric motor sitting inside your gas tank. It actually uses the gasoline surrounding it as a coolant to stay at a safe temperature. When you consistently run your tank down to the bottom, the pump is exposed to air. It begins to overheat, warping the internal seals and weakening the motor. Even worse, over the years, heavy dirt and sediment settle at the bottom of your tank. When the fuel is low, you are forcing your pump to act like a trash compressor, sucking up all that gunk into your fuel injectors. You might save 10 minutes by skipping the gas station today, but you're spending $1,000 on a new pump tomorrow. Procrastination is expensive, and your fuel tank is the proof. Habit number 7, the resting hand. Habit number 7 is a classic lazy habit, using the gear shifter as a handrest. It feels natural, almost like your car was designed to give your arm a place to sit. But inside your transmission, that shifter is connected to a delicate metal component called a selector fork. When you rest the weight of your arm, even if it's just a couple of pounds, on that shifter, you are pushing that fork against a spinning brass ring called a synchronizer. These parts are only meant to touch for a split second when you're actually changing gears. By resting your hand there, you are creating constant, unintentional friction. It's like sandpaper slowly grinding away at the heart of your transmission. Eventually, the brass wears down, and your car starts grinding gears or popping out of gear entirely. It's a habit born from comfort, but it ends in a transmission rebuild that will cost you thousands. Both hands belong on the wheel. The shifter is a tool, not a furniture piece. Habit number 6, the speed bump sprint. Habit number 6 is a crime of impatience, the speed bump sprint. We've all seen the driver who barely slows down for speed bumps, or the one who tries to take them at a sharp angle to save time. In your mind, you think your suspension is built to handle it, but your suspension isn't a trampoline, it's a precision instrument. When you hit a bump too fast, you are forcing your shocks, struts, and rubber bushings to absorb a violent amount of energy instantly. This leads to blown shocks and torn control arm bushings. Once those rubber parts tear, your car will start to clunk, your tires will wear out unevenly, and your alignment will be ruined. Replacing a full set of control arms and struts can easily reach $1,500. Speed bumps are a test of your patience, not a challenge for your car. Slowing down is free. A new suspension is not. Habit number 5, the dry steering twist. Habit number 5 is a crime against your tires and your steering rack. Dry steering. This is the act of turning your steering wheel when the car is completely stationary, like when you're trying to pull out of a tight parking spot. In your mind, the power steering is making it easy, so it must be fine. But under the hood, a war is happening. Because the car isn't moving, there is maximum friction between the heavy rubber tires and the rough asphalt. Your power steering pump has to work at its absolute limit to overcome that resistance. This puts extreme pressure on the steering rack, a precision metal component that is hidden deep inside your car's subframe. Replacing a steering rack can be one of the most painful repairs you can face, often costing between $1,000 and $2,500 depending on your car. You're also scrubbing the tread off your tires in an uneven way. The fix is a rolling turn. Just a tiny bit of movement, even an inch or two, drastically reduces the friction and saves your steering system from an early grave. Habit number 4, the reverse to drive slingshot. Habit number 4 is perhaps the most common mechanical crime in the world, shifting gears while the car is still rolling. We've all seen it. A driver backs out of a spot and throws the car into drive while it's still moving backward. Think about the physics here. Your car is a 3,000-pound object moving in one direction. When you shift gears while rolling, you are asking the internal clutches and planetary gears of your transmission to act as brakes. You are forcing the transmission to snap the car's momentum in the opposite direction instantly. This creates kinetic shear. In modern automatics, you might feel a harsh clunk. That's the sound of metal components being stressed to their limit. This habit sends metal shavings into your transmission fluid, which then act like liquid sandpaper grinding away at every gear. Shifting before stopping is the number 2 cause of total transmission failure. A new transmission can cost up to $7,000. The rule is simple. Come to a 100% dead stop before you move that lever. Your transmission is a heart, not a brake pedal. Habit number 3, the engine lugging trap. Habit number 3 is a mechanical crime often committed by people trying to save gas, lugging the engine. This happens when you're in a high gear at a low speed, like going 30 miles per hour in 5th gear, and you floor the gas pedal to accelerate. You'll hear a deep, grumbling vibration from the engine. In your mind, you're avoiding a downshift to save fuel, but inside the engine, you are creating a high-load, low RPM disaster. Because the engine is spinning slowly, it can't handle the massive explosion of fuel in the cylinder. The pressure becomes so great that the piston literally wobbles and slams against the side of the cylinder wall. We call this piston slap. This habit crushes your engine bearings and ages your motor by 100,000 miles in a single year. It is far cheaper to use a little more gas by downshifting than it is to replace a block with scarred cylinder walls. Don't choke your engine. Let it breathe. Habit number 2, the cold start floor it. As we reach the top of our list, we find the cold start hero. This is the driver who twists the key and within 3 seconds is already flooring the gas to merge into traffic. Here is the invisible ticket you're paying for: dry friction. When your car sits overnight, every drop of oil drains into the pan at the bottom. The most critical parts of your engine, the camshafts and valves at the top, are completely dry. When you start the engine, it takes about 20 to 30 seconds for the oil pump to push that cold, thick oil all the way to the top. By flooring it immediately, you are forcing metal parts to rub together at 3,000 RPM with zero protection. You are literally shaving metal off your engine's internals. Every time you do this, you are effectively shortening the life of your car. The fix is a simple 30-second grace period. Give your oil time to arrive before you ask your engine to work. Habit number 1, the morning idle execution. We have reached the number 1 habit, and it is the scariest because almost everyone was taught that this is good for the car. Habit number 1 is long-term morning idling. You've seen it every winter. People start their cars and let them sit in the driveway for 15 or 20 minutes to warm up the engine. While you think you're being a responsible owner, you are actually committing the ultimate mechanical crime: fuel dilution. Modern engines are designed to be driven. When a car idles, it stays cold much longer than it should. To keep a cold engine running, the computer sprays an extra heavy amount of gasoline into the cylinders. Because the engine isn't under load, that extra gas doesn't burn off. Instead, it stays liquid and washes the protective oil right off your cylinder walls. You are left with metal rubbing against metal in a cold, unlubricated environment. Even worse, that raw gas leaks down into your oil pan, thinning out your oil and making it less effective for the rest of the day. You are literally watering down your engine's lifeblood. The invisible ticket here is massive engine wear that shortens the life of your car by years. The fix? Wait 30 seconds for the oil to circulate and then drive gently. Your engine warms up twice as fast when it's moving, which stops the damage and saves your motor. We've counted down from the 2-foot brake to the morning idle execution, and what we've discovered is that the most expensive traffic tickets aren't written by the police, they are written by our own habits. Your car is a masterpiece of engineering, but it is also a system of physics that demands respect. Most people will continue to drive on autopilot, fining themselves thousands of dollars every year without even knowing it. But you now have the knowledge mindset. You know that a 30-second pause in the morning or a complete stop before shifting is the difference between a car that dies at 80,000 miles and one that lives to 300,000. Which of these 10 habits have you been doing? Be honest, we've all been guilty of at least one. Let's talk about the morning idle myth in the comments. And if you want to keep decoding the hidden systems that run our world, hit subscribe now. We don't just look at the machine, we decode the mind behind the wheel.